Grüezi miteinander. Welcome to this town hall meeting for Myanmar. My name is Silvia Spahn. I'm the head of the consular section of the Regional Consular Center in Bangkok. To my side is also Antonio Mangino. He's deputy head of the visa section, but actually he's helping us out with mapping of the Swiss in Myanmar. On the Myanmar side, we have Ambassador Tim Enderlin and our colleague Christine Bernhardt and Mark Häuslermann. Thank you for joining. This town hall meeting is especially for Myanmar, given the special situation. We usually do a joint meeting also for Swiss living in Malaysia. For the Swiss living in Malaysia, we will do one at the end of the month, and the Swiss will receive the invitation in due time. Just for clarification, we are always doing this jointly, this town hall meeting with the embassy in Myanmar and the embassy in Thailand, because we are the Regional Consular Center for Thailand, Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, and Malaysia. And the Swiss embassy in Myanmar has actually no consular service, but we are always supported by Christine Bernhardt in questions when it comes to handing out passports or replying questions. And of course, all the information we get from our colleagues in Myanmar will also be helpful for the Swiss living there. Without further ado, I will give the floor to the Ambassador Tim Enderlin, please.
Thank you, Sylvia, and good morning, good afternoon, dear fellow citizens, wherever you are, here in Myanmar, in Thailand or Switzerland or maybe elsewhere. I'm actually very glad that we can have this meeting today and establish contact with you, explaining a little bit how we see the situation, explaining also a little bit where we actually stand, also as an embassy. And then certainly also having enough time for any questions that may come from your side. I think it's an important tool to be able to directly link up with you, and in difficult times as these, to also reassure you that the embassies, be it the one in Bangkok or the one in Yangon here, are at your disposal and in support of our Swiss citizens. I would also like to say that this town hall meeting for me is one of the expressions on how good and intensively our two embassies actually work together. That has worked well already during COVID, and it does also in this very particular situation. What can I tell you about the situation right now in Myanmar? You know where we are after the coup end of January. We are now in the 5th day of consecutive mass demonstrations in the streets, in Yangon, in Naypyidaw, in Mandalay, and elsewhere. The biggest demonstrations certainly taking place in Yangon, especially in the regions around the Ledan Center and Sule Pagoda, with 10,000s, if not 100,000s of people joining. Protests have been so far more or less peaceful. I would say peaceful in the sense that protesters are very disciplined, of course also organized through social media, etc. And police and military show a certain restraint. It's of course one of our biggest concerns these days. How will this situation develop? If I say it's rather calm, then the situation of course is also tense, and escalation is possible at all times. We have already unfortunately had to witness that yesterday, and you may have heard that in Naypyidaw, but also in Mandalay, with people having been heavily injured, especially one woman critically injured in Naypyidaw. So we very much hope that especially the security forces will refrain from any kind of violence, and will respect also the right of people to peacefully demonstrate and making their rights and their voices heard, of course. There is another movement. We have the mass demonstrations. As I told you, you might also have heard about the movement on civil disobedience that is growing as well through social media, with many working sectors being on strike. There was a general strike yesterday. We know that there are ministries affected, there are hospitals affected, health workers in general being on strike, teachers, other professions. So a very, very large scale, at a very large scale, and probably continue to grow, which of course also has repercussions on basic services here in Myanmar. The instructions by the government so far, there is a curfew from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. in the morning in some parts of the countries, many townships in Yangon, also elsewhere, so not covering all the country as such, but all the places where actually demonstrations and big demonstrations take place. There is also a restriction in place of no gatherings more than 5 persons. Looking into the travel situation, it's pretty much the same as it was before for the time being, meaning that there are still relief flights on. The authorities have announced that there will be more flights. We know that flights, the relief flights, are actually operating. Of course, what we do not know is how long this will continue. And until and to what extent. This is everything I tell you right now, of course, is just the situation as we witness it right now. Maybe a word on COVID very briefly, and I mentioned the basic services. They are, of course, affected right now with what's going on here in the country, and healthcare. You have seen all those pictures, you have seen people gathering, coming together. Of course, all the restrictions or the preventive measures on COVID are not followed anymore, or at least not the way they were followed before. So there is, of course, a certain risk in the virus and the pandemic in a few weeks' time, at least, becoming more important again here in Myanmar. We don't know that yet, but it's certainly something we need to be aware of, and also people living here need to be aware of. The new authorities have announced that they will continue with the vaccination program. Also here, we do not know yet how actually this will happen, and if there is important delays in this, and how. PCR testing have become more difficult, but we have also, and Christine, my colleague, can go in more details afterwards, we have also got the good news this morning that there is a new center opened up already close to the airport that's functional, operational, and working, and delivering PCR tests and results within 24 hours. I think I leave it for the time being here. For the overall situation, we'll certainly have time afterwards, also with the Q&A session, to go into some more details. Maybe one last point from my side. The embassy here in Yangon, of course, is operational, is in close contact, as you see, with the embassy in Bangkok as well, with our headquarters in Switzerland. Our staff is on place. We have some difficulties right now to access the embassy because it's at it's in P Road, so one of the main roads that leading to Ledan. So traffic quite blocked. That doesn't hinder us to work, and we have experienced that already through COVID times. We continue working in Team A and Team B, and we continue working from home, and whenever possible we are also at the office, but just that you know that the embassy is operational, is there, and staff is present and at disposal, of course, also for the Swiss community. With this, Christine, over to you. Maybe you have some more additional, more detailed remarks on what I have said. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. Yes, so for the relief flight, I think this is the main topic for the moment, what people are interested in knowing. Different airlines are offering relief flights, among others Singapore Airlines, Myanmar National Airways, Myanmar Airlines International. There are relief flights towards Seoul, Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, among others. The details about these flights are published regularly on the webpage of the different airlines. As we said, the conditions and the schedules are changing on a daily basis, so we invite you or encourage you to check the airline's website regularly if you're interested to leave the country. Now, as you know, as of this week, a negative PCR test is mandatory to enter Switzerland. The NHL's lab, which is situated downtown, is closed as of today, but we received very good news today to hear that there is another testing center that opened close to the airport. It is located at a cargo warehouse on Pai Road near the Tan Pin Kon bus station. This center is processing PCR test within 24 hours, which means you must go to get your test done, let's say today, and you get the result 24 hours later. So you need also to take into consideration the delay of 24 hours to obtain the PCR test. So that's it for the test. We for the transit, if you fly with the relief flights via Singapore, Seoul, or Kuala Lumpur, from there you will have the opportunity to book a different flight with different routes towards Europe or Switzerland according to your choice. So this is the update on my side for relief flight and PCR test. I also wanted to say that we are closely collaborating with all our other embassies which are here present in Yangon. We exchange regularly information, and we're trying to communicate as much as we can and as frequently. And we will also publish more information on our website as it becomes available. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Ambassador, you wanted to add something to this?
Thank you, Silvia. I think it's fine for the time being, and maybe there are some questions where we can then go into more details on one or the other point. Over to you again.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I think maybe I could specify also a little bit what we can do for the Swiss that are currently living in Myanmar and what we are doing. We have currently 137 Swiss registered with us. And we have, I think, 7 Swiss that are registered in Travel Admin app. Okay, right. So what we are doing since beginning last week, we are trying to contact with every Swiss and see to find out if the communication is okay, how are they, what are their needs, would they want to leave the country or would they stay? So we have not been able to reach everybody. If somebody knows somebody who is actually registered with us but currently not in Myanmar, we would be happy to get this information. So and those who might be listening now and didn't get contacted by us, because sometimes also maybe the phone number is not the correct one anymore. So please contact us. We need to know where you are and how you are and what your intentions are, so we can better prepare also if you need assistance from our side or not. If you want to leave the country, you have heard that Christine said that the relief flights are still functioning, maybe on an irregular basis, and the PCR testing is also still, or again, working. That's good news. Otherwise, we would have also seen with Switzerland if we could do anything in this respect. But thank you, it's working. That's okay. But still, if you have any doubts or questions or need help for travel back to Europe or Switzerland, contact us, and we will see together with, of course, the embassy in Myanmar what we can do for you. We also send regular new info mail on the email of the Swiss registered with us. So we will update you regularly on all the news, also the news that we just received now for the PCR testing. We will make an information on that too. So I think we go over to the few questions we received. One is concerning passports. Of course, now since we couldn't travel to Myanmar with the mobile passport station since last year, and we probably, of course, will not be able to go now. But we have the same problem with also the Swiss citizen in Malaysia and in the other surrounding countries. And we have been creating a solution together with the Ministry of Justice in Switzerland so that we can make exceptional passports without biometric data on a distance. So if you need one, you contact us and we will give you all the information that is needed in order to issue such a passport, 10 years passport without biometric data. Of course, as soon as the situation is normal or you travel and then you go to Switzerland, then you would need to exchange to a normal ordinary passport with biometric data. But at least we have this solution for all the people that cannot, their passport is expiring soon and can of course not travel. Then one question from Bruno P was, how much shall I read it in German since it came in German? Wie viel Geld Entwicklungshilfe erhält das Regime? Mr. Ambassador, would you like to answer this question?
I can answer that one, thank you, but I'll do it in English.
Okay, if, that's good.
That's okay. So I think that everyone gets the answer from our side. First, maybe to tell you that Switzerland has reacted to this coup here in Myanmar like others within the international community did, and issued a statement expressing its deep concern on what happened here, asking also for the release of the people detained, and in particular the State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi and President Win Myint. And we have also called for dialogue between the different parties, and reminded also that the results from the elections should not be altered by any means, and that Switzerland feels committed to the democratic transition process, which we are supporting from the very beginning here in Myanmar. You are aware that Switzerland has a development program, an aid program here in Myanmar. Switzerland does not have, however, direct support, be it central or sectorial budget support. So there is already, before, there was no money going directly through the government. We, however, had, of course, some capacity building with governmental structures, and this has been put on hold after the recent happenings. This is now being evaluated. At the same time, we are evaluating our programs one by one, and our overall program as well, in line also with and strong coordination with the international community and other development partners. Because at the end, what we have to note is what Switzerland is investing here in terms of aid is meant to go to the beneficiaries, to the population, to the people. And we have to find means on how we can continue doing that without benefiting directly the authorities. And this is an assessment that is ongoing and of high priority to us. I hope this is a sufficient reply to that question. Thank you, Silvia.
Thank you very much. Next question is from Cyril O. Until what point will the embassy help the Swiss citizen in Myanmar if they have to leave for emergency or security reason, if the situation becomes too dangerous? Well, for the moment, we still have some relief flights. If you want to leave, then you can do so. And if you need help from or assistance from us, please contact us. If the situation changes, then we will evaluate together with the Crisis Management Center in Switzerland, and of course also in coordination with other EU, for example, European countries, what can be done. As we have done this also in the COVID-19 crisis last year, we had organized some flights. We could also book seats on flights organized by other European countries. So we work in this together, and if we need to organize travel out of Myanmar, then we will do that. We will inform you, of course, also of this possibility. Then, for the moment, it's not a point. And then, well, I think that were all the questions we had so far. Let me check if there is one. Is there a question online coming in? Okay. Well, someone is asking for a number in Yangon to call to stay informed. Aha, okay. But if it is a Swiss person and he is registered with us, he will receive all the information we can give out to all Swiss. They can also always call us for information. And if it's a Swiss traveling in Myanmar, please upload your data in this travel admin app. So we will have you on the list, and we can send you also all the information that you need. Anything else? Checking if there has been another question coming in. Okay, can relief flights be booked directly with airlines? Maybe Christine, you could specify on this question?
Yes, the relief flights can be booked directly with the airlines. The different airlines publish on their website the different schedules and itinerary, and it can be booked directly with the airlines. So either Singapore Airlines, Korean Airways is flying to Seoul. We have Myanmar MAI, Myanmar Airlines Internationals. We have MNA, Myanmar National Airways. The links to these airlines are also on our webpage. On the webpage of Yangon, we have under it was already in information published for the COVID time, and we have the links there available. But the flights can be booked directly with the airlines.
And the PCR testing is, do we have to go through a doctor, or you can just go to test center and get tested there?
Apparently you can go directly, but this center just opened today. We know that it's now operational. We hear that it's working well, but I haven't got any more feedback than that. Of course, we will know more in a day or two. But right now it seems that it started today and it's working well. The first feedback we got is that the first few passengers were able to go there, and the passengers were traveling with Singapore Airlines, MNA and MAI. So they were accepted from all three airline companies.
Okay, very good. Okay, that's good news. Thank you. We have another rather long question, but maybe, well, okay, I'm just reading it. I am a Swiss citizen. My wife and her son have a Thai passport with a Schengen Type C visa. Can they enter Switzerland? Can it be extended in Switzerland? Can a new visa be done here? So I guess probably that's one person living in Thailand, but if it's a Swiss living in Myanmar, married to a Thai person, and okay, I have my colleague from the visa section here, so probably can you answer this question, please?
Yes, hello everyone. I would say of course, you can travel to Switzerland if your wife and the son. This is no problem at all. So if you would to do so, I would suggest you that you write on our email, which is bangkok.visa@eda.admin.ch for the details. So everyone that is in the same situation, that has family members with a C visa, please write us so we can check the details case by case. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony. We have a next question. Okay. Not finished. Okay, Antoine V asks, I would like to know if procedure for marriage registration done in Myanmar can be simplified, and how can you help me getting proper document for the transfer to be registered in Switzerland? Well, I think in this question is rather a particular one. I will, if you could give us maybe a phone number, then I will call you and we can have a look at this particular problem. Is there any more questions? Okay, oh yes, one question came in from one person who has a visa, whose visa is expiring soon, and what to do. If I'm not wrong, actually what you should do is get your visa extended, but I'm not sure at this moment how this could be done. Would you have any more information, Christine? I mean, if you could go to this local immigration office and try to extend your visa, is that possible?
I'm afraid I don't really have an answer for that. The services have been quite disrupted the last few days, and I don't know if it's at all possible at the moment to do an extension of visa. I'm sorry. It's
okay.
I think that needs to be. We need to try to contact the immigration office and see if they are operational or not. I'm not sure on that point. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much. We definitely look into this question, and then we will inform, of course, everybody also again as soon as we get definitive answers to this question. That's an important one. Okay. Well, no, so far no more questions. Ambassador, would you have anything else you would like to share with us?
Thank you, Sylvia, and maybe just very briefly to reassure you all that, as I said initially, the embassy is here, the embassy is open, and the embassy is ready to support you to the extent possible. The embassy responsible for consular affairs is, as you all know, and as has been mentioned before, Bangkok. So we closely coordinate with them. We are the ones that are locally present, so if there is anything, don't hesitate to contact us, and we are very much willing to help you, or then to get in touch with our colleagues in Bangkok and to make sure that your questions can be followed up. I would maybe just finish from my side in once again reiterating that the situation is relatively calm, and I say relatively, and again, we all know and are aware also from the history here in Myanmar that this can change very quickly. So I would like to ask you all to be cautious, stay at home as much as possible, respect, of course, the curfew hours from 8 o'clock in the evening to 4 o'clock in the morning, Make sure you have enough food and cash reserves. We know that banks are, and you have seen that if you are here, are not operating on a regular basis. SIM cards, of course, to be topped up. And phones topped up. So take the necessary precautions and also make sure that your communication is working to the extent possible. We have already experienced internet shutdowns the last weekend. It was fortunate enough only for 24 hours, but we can of course not exclude that those things happen again, and in general we cannot exclude that things get worse, even though we all hope, of course, and also are working in that direction, that the escalation happens than rather further escalations. I think this is it from my side. I would like to thank you from Yangon for joining, and wishing all my fellow citizens to stay safe and healthy.
Thank you very much also for joining us, and wishing you all the best also to you. And I think we will do a town hall meeting as the situation evolves, and if there is new information needed to be given or whatever, then we'll set up a new town hall meeting on the spot, or like this one today. Thank you very much. All the best to you, and see you the next time.
Thank you very much, and goodbye, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.